And that's what it's all about, the World Heavyweight Championship, and it's only day 1. Hello everybody, to Jew22 here, and before we get started, first the challenger, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, weighing in at 237 pounds, Mr. Rogers. And from Italy, weighing in at 250, the World Heavyweight Champion, Tony Bennett. So yeah, even though they're teammates, even though they're partners in the suits, it's all about that championship. And to reiterate, Mr. Rogers was selected by the committee to face his own teammate, Tony Bennett. So that's pretty much how this match came about. So for Tony, he cannot look past Mr. Rogers, because if he does, Mr. Rogers can pull a rabbit out of a hat and just win the match that way. And Mr. Rogers, he cannot allow Tony Bennett to pick up some steam, because if he does, and I don't mean it literally, I mean like once Tony Bennett gets going, Tony Bennett's pretty much hard to stop. He's proven that over the last couple of weeks, especially in those 2 title defenses. Although to be fair, Nufi Bonga and Slim Kirby got involved once too many times, and right now, I mean, this is a big test for, Tony Bennett, because, well, this is, the first 2 times he tried to defend the title, it was marred by interference, and the committee has made sure that no one interferes on anybody's part. So with that said, let's just get down to the matchup. Or actually, we are in the matchup. It's just, I was just giving you guys the background as to how this match came about. And a jawbreaker right to Tony Bennett. And then an STO to follow it up. These guys are evenly matched in terms of size and strength and weight. But the experience has to go to Mr. Rogers, because, come on, Mr. Rogers, he's been in the business for 40 plus years. He would know every trick in the book as far as this is concerned. Went for a suplex, but got countered by Tony Bennett. And Tony, though young, though full of energy, and just at the peak of his career, he's pretty much he's well put together, and he has the look, man. And another chop block to Mr. Rogers, but and then he takes the arm and rams it onto the canvas, just hurting it. So yeah, you have one guy who's at the peak of his career, and then you have someone who's been there who has been to the top of the mountain, and has been through the shadow of the valley of, or what is it? Oh, okay, thank you for correcting me on that. Okay, he's been to the top of the mountain and has been through the valley of the shadow of death. That's what I was trying to get at. And an armbar, but didn't quite get all of it, though. Did Mr. Rogers. Of course you would have to expect that this match is going to be a bit slow-paced, because, for one, Mr. Rogers, he wants to keep the pace of this match slow and steady. He cannot try to, quicken the pace with Tony Bennett, otherwise Tony Bennett's going to run circles all over him. But Tony Bennett also better not get careless, because if he does, Mr. Rogers can make quick work of him, and just as quickly as he won the championship at the last Super Show, it could just as quickly end tonight. And, oh, wait a minute! Curtain call! Curtain call right to Mr. Rogers. Oh, but he's not going for the cover, though. He's going to go for a running knee drop. But he's got to go for the... Now, that's a huge mistake. You don't want to do that against Mr. Rogers. See what I mean? You don't want to give Mr. Rogers a second chance, because if you do, Mr. Rogers will take it and just go with it. He'll just take it from you. So we'll find out if that decision not to go for the cover will haunt him. But a wheelbarrow facebuster onto Mr. Rogers. And a chin lock. So yeah, coming into day one, I will have to admit, I understand it took a while to get everything ready, but I wanted to make sure that everything was going to go well, and plus, outside of the Jewish television company, I was really busy. So it's not like I had all the time in the world to do it. I mean, I might during the month of August, but right now I'm just gonna, take it one day at a time, which is why I made it 6 days for Starrcade. And of course the board of directors agreed with that. And that's pretty much how it came to be. And once again taking the arm and ramming it onto the canvas. So yeah, Tony Bennett is beating up Mr. Rogers and just, pounding away, just working him over. I mean, which is what you need to do against Mr. Rogers. I mean, Mr. Rogers will do the same thing as well, but again, Mr. Rogers can't try to quicken the pace. Otherwise, like I said, Tony Bennett's gonna run circles all over him and lay the smackdown on him. And likewise, Tony does not want to quicken the pace either, because if he does, then, and he might just get careless. How do I say this? Okay, Tony does not want to get careless. He should not get careless in this type of matchup against Mr. Rogers. I mean, Mr. Rogers is a veteran of the game. He knows what to do. And an inverted atomic drop. So now that I've said all I need to say about the strategies, it's just going to come down to execution. And skull-crushing finale taken from The Miz. That's the thing about these two guys. And wait a minute. The pile driver. A pile driver right to Tony Bennett, and that usually is the beginning of the end for most of his opponents. Neighborhood slam onto Tony Bennett, and Mr. Rogers, yeah, now he's going for the cover, unlike Tony 1, 2, no, kick out. I mean, that could have been it, folks. I mean, Tony, I'll give him credit for his resiliency, but the mistake of not going for the cover against Mr. Rogers early in the match, that could have costed him right there, had he not been able to kick out. And a kitchen sink to Mr. Rogers. That knee to the gut after an Irish whip. That's called a kitchen sink. I don't know why. That's just what it's called. So yeah, these two. There's no ill will from these two men. It's just that Mr. Rogers was selected to be in this match, and Tony's just gonna have to work with the cards that were dealt to him, like any good champion would. As Mr. Rogers was sent onto the floor, but now both men are back in. A leg sweep to Tony Bennett. Oh, I got something in my throat. Alright, there we go. And a super arm drag from Mr. Rogers, rather, excuse me. I mean, it's been back and forth. So far, no one man has dominated more than 2 minutes. And Mr. Rogers going for a cross arm breaker onto Tony Bennett once again. But Tony got out of it, though. and an elbow smash. And oh, wait a minute, another curtain call. And oh, Mr. Rogers is pissed, but countered into a spine buster. Picks up Mr. Rogers. Nope. And right now, Mr. Rogers' head is hurting, but an atomic drop onto Tony Bennett. And goes for another chin lock. But escapes. Does Tony Bennett. And an arm wringer flip. I mean, right now, Mr. Rogers' head is hurting right now, but he's got to block out the pain. That's all he has to do, and he's going to go up for a suplex on a Bennett. And an arm wrench. And what's he going for? A single leg Boston Crab. Now he's got him in the middle of the ring. Will Mr. Rogers escape or will he tap out? I'm not sure. And I cannot believe it. Mr. Rogers tapped out of that. I guess the knees must be killing him right now because he tapped.